Hello and welcome back to my channel. Sorry about my mess. I've just been to the gym and I've come back, and tonight we are going to see some friends for dinner and we're having potluck meal, and I obviously am in charge, very obviously in charge of the dessert, which I actually prefer because I love this is a good time for me to experiment with things, or if I haven't tried anything new, then I find that this time when I'm taking desserts for people to try something new. So I am going to make a honey sesame seed tart, and I'm very excited to try this. So I'm going to make the dough first and let it rest, and then the filling is super simple. Everything comes together, goes in the oven, and once it's out, I will take it to the friend's house for dinner. So let's get baking. Before that, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss out on any of the new recipes. I'm going to start with 100 grams of softened butter. It wasn't softened, so I put it in the microwave for just 20 seconds. So it doesn't melt, but it softens up quite perfectly actually. And to this goes in 50 grams of tahini, which is the sesame seed paste. Shoot! Well saved, right? And then goes in 50 grams of icing sugar to sweeten it. Next, a little pinch of salt, and then I just mix this together. Just gonna cream it up basically, just like a cake mix. Oh, I love sesame seeds, whether it's the seeds or the paste, which is tahini. I just love it. Love the flavor, love the smell. So basically it should be smooth. If you can be asked to sieve the icing sugar, then sieve it. I can't be asked, so it's really perfectly mixed. Now to this I'm going to add 2 egg yolks only. I am going to keep the whites for later. I'll just add it to my omelets that I make for myself for later. So 2 egg yolks go in. Adding the next thing, it's 200 grams of plain flour, and a teaspoon of lovely cinnamon. If you feel the need, you can add only a tablespoon of water to bring this dough together. I just feel that I don't need it. Now I'm gonna let this rest because, remember our butter was really soft. So the butter needs to set a little bit, otherwise the pastry won't roll. So I'm gonna leave it in the fridge, cover and leave it in the fridge for 30 minutes. This dough has been resting for an hour, actually, maybe 2. It's quite rock solid, as you can tell. I prefer it slightly softer, but it will soften up in no time. So I'm using, I think this is probably 9-inch tart case. And with the pastry, whatever you're making, it's a very good idea to do little rolls. So what I'm trying to say is, don't go like this. Just do little presses, and then you can have full control over it and it'll be even. If you do that, then it won't work as perfectly. You won't get evenly rolled out. See, this is what I mean. So I'm going to roll it slightly bigger than the tin so it can kind of hang over. Now you can always pinch it all back in at this stage. it's good idea to also keep picking it up so that it doesn't stick to the surface. So if you just keep moving it, it will keep it. Oh, it smells of tahini. A little bit more. And now, very carefully, there we go. And like I said, don't worry about the cracks just yet. Then you just press it in. This is going to go back in the fridge for half an hour. And now you patch it up properly. Make sure you cover up all the cracks so that when we put the filling in, nothing leaks out. Right, I'm going to put this in the oven, in the fridge for half an hour. I have got here 175 grams of butter, unsalted, and I'm just going to melt it and get it to nicely golden brown. So almost like ghee, but just till brown butter, till it becomes brown butter. And while that is happening, I just want to show the oven is heating up at 180C or 160 fan. I've got my pastry that has been chilled. I'm now going to prep it for baking. So I've got a square piece of baking parchment which I scrunched up. Let me put some with a fork, just gonna punch it through. Anything, it's nice and flat, and then goes in our pastry. I've got some ceramic baking beans. If you don't have baking beans, you can use some rice or any beans. Now this is going to go in the oven for 15 minutes like this. So it will come to this stage where it's just bubbling. You can see that the solids have separated from the butter and they're kind of settling down at the bottom. You just continue to cook at this point. Now this is the point, you have to be careful. So you can see that it's browned up nicely. It doesn't need, make sure that it doesn't burn. It's a beautiful color. I'm going to turn the heat off and transfer it to a bowl where I'll mix it with the other ingredients. Look at that color, beautiful. Now to this browned butter goes in 225 grams of clear honey. Next goes in 125 grams of soft brown sugar. Now I need to add some eggs, but I need just some yolks as well. I need 2 yolks. This is from the pastry, the egg whites, which I'm gonna, now I've got 4. I might just make some meringues. I need 2 yolks and 3 whole eggs. Next goes in 2 teaspoons of, oh no, this is half, sorry. 2 teaspoons of cider vinegar. Also some vanilla bean paste, 2 teaspoons. I think I've only got 2 teaspoons in here. Let's see. I think I can just about manage 2 teaspoons. Next I've got a teaspoon of white sesame seeds and a teaspoon of black sesame seeds. Next I've got a nice pinch of salt. Then I've got 2 tablespoons of tahini, which we added in the pastry as well. Next I've got 125 ml of double cream. To combine all the so many things in it together. Just in 15 minutes, the timer has just gone off, and what I'm going to do is this comes off. Looking pretty good, and now this goes back in for 2 minutes in the same hot oven. In the 2 minutes the pastry is crisping up, I'm going to melt 50 grams of dark chocolate, 70% cocoa in the microwave for a few seconds. Just a tip, when you are melting chocolate in the microwave and not over some hot water, don't put it in for a long time. Heat it for a few seconds, stir it, and then put it back for a few seconds, so then you don't burn it. The chocolate is nicely melted, ready for the pastry. So let me get that out the oven. I prefer to tidy the pastry when it's baked. Some people do it before. If you want to do it before, you can, or like me, you want to do it afterwards. Just be gentle. You have to be careful before or now. You have to be careful both the times. I love the rustic edges whenever I made tarts, whether I'm taking it somewhere or it's for myself. I love it. Right, now for the filling, put it all into the tin. This is just going to seal the pastry and stop it from getting soggy when I put the actual filling in. Cover it up. Now goes in the filling. And now I'm going to finish this with just a sprinkling of sesame seeds, a bit of black and a bit of white. And now this goes in the oven for 40-45 minutes, and I'm going to check and tell you how to see if it's done. It's been exactly 42 minutes. I just peeked my head and it's looking beautiful. So the 2 things you have to look for to see whether it's done or not is basically, I'll show you. As you can see, it's puffed up from the sides, right? And it's a little wobbly, okay? Wobbly is fine because we want a little wobbly. So I'm just going to leave it for 5 minutes, last 5 minutes, and I'm just going to take it out, let it sit, just let it sit in the tin, and I'm going to take it to my friends in the tin, and I'll take it out there and show you how it looks. Before,
because tahini just reminds me of hummus. Because that's the only time I've ever used it. I don't know what it tastes. What have we got here?
We've got honey and tahini.
Honey, what? Tahini?
Oh yeah, sesame seed paste. Remember hummus?
No, hummus pie.
Come down to the start of the main. I want to know.
Like the selfie.
That's the only thing I've ever put tahini in before.
That's nice.
Isn't it?
Lovely.
Really
Quite light
delicious.
as well.
Very light. It doesn't. It tastes a lot lighter than it looks. I don't mean that in a horrible way.
No.